Hi everyone, I'm Adanna. Thank you for the beautiful introduction. So I want to give a story on how I came to be where I am now. I grew up mostly playing by myself on my mom's fish farm. I was happy talking to myself, while most of the adults were more concentrated on their work. It wasn't until I got to America that everybody would point out that I was always alone and I had no friends. That was what first fueled my negative self-talk, because I started to believe I was truly alone. It was hard to get close to me because I would always ask myself, what if these people are against me? Even if it was someone in the undocumented community, can you believe that? I would think, what if they did not accept me? As I was usually a minority within a minority, as most of the people in the undocumented community known to me at that time were Latinos. I would think, I do not belong here. Or how can I, one person, represent all the other types of undocumented individuals? So in order not to get hurt, I will purposely make it hard for people to get close to me or understand me. Once I learned about ICE, I closed myself off to traveling alone and being in the spotlight. I was scared to go on a plane by myself or tell people about my trips until months after I had arrived back here. At some point, I completely shut off, unaware of the people trying to help me. And the only thing I displayed to others was the one thing that consumed my mind, which was fashion. Fashion was my escape to everything. I had an insatiable craving to learn how to sew beautiful clothes. When I would visit this fabric shop, I would run my hands through the fabrics. I would start to dream about all the possibilities that I could make with the clothes. And I taught myself how to sew because, yes, thank you for your support. I taught myself to use a sewing machine with a lot of trial and error because I really wanted to join the sewing club, but they rejected me because I did not have enough experience. Can you believe that? I was so upset that I almost gave up sewing for good. It made me feel even more alone, but I felt the pull to keep designing. The first piece I made was one I was really proud of, which was a West African cultural piece. Yeah, so this was my very first piece. It's a West African culture piece called Aso Ebi Ebela. An attire made to be worn during ceremonies, usually weddings. Like if you ever gone to a Nigerian weddings, you see the guests, their outfits are on fire. You cannot come looking like shabby, raggy. So my sister here modeled this clothes and she went to the wedding, the Nigerian wedding, and she was looking, the part. So I used see-through lace, Nigerian see-through lace, and I mixed it with Joanne lining fabric. And although it doesn't have the West African traditional fabric, it still met the criteria of Aso Ebi Bella. The process took a long time, but when I was finished, I looked at my sister modeling it, and I couldn't believe I made something so elegant. Like me, a sewing club reject who didn't know how to sew and taught herself how to sew, made this. So I decided to turn my fashion dreams into a business. I thought my business was all I had to succeed with no documentation. So I spent countless nights setting the foundation and not allowing myself to procrastinate or have fun. I knew that after college graduation, my friends would all go to corporate jobs or move on to the next level of their life, and I wanted to keep up. I was so focused on the things that I did not have that I was always waiting for a future moment when I was documented instead of focusing on the beauty of the present moment. But now that I've grown, I realized there was so much opportunity and support for undocumented people like me all along. I was part of an AB 540 undocumented student group at UC Davis, UCLA Labor Center, the Immigrants Rising group, UCLA Labor Center, Sacramento Immigration Coalition, Alianza, and so much more were supporting people like me all along. And you know what? There's so much more in life than waiting for future moments to be present. Thank you. For people like me, the future can be a source of fear. And although it is normal to feel unsure about the future, it's crucial to keep in mind that we have the ability to influence it. You don't have to let other people's beliefs about you become your reality. I did this when I started to believe I was really alone based on other people's perception of me. But I never was alone. I had all those groups I just listed. I had my snails and fishes at my mom's fish farm. I had my friends. I had my family. I had my love for fashion and design. I had myself. And most importantly, I had my light workers always there with me every step of the way. My experience has taught me the value of putting more emphasis here in the present moment. Recently, after 16 years of being undocumented, no DACA, undocumented, I recently became a U.S. permanent resident. Thank you all. And even though this made me really happy to have this sense of security I waited so long for, I know that I had value all this time, no matter what my status. And I'm proud of the way being undocumented has shaped me. I'm still the girl who runs her hands through different fabrics, the girl who gets ugly clothes from the thrift store and turn them into something beautiful, all right? The girl whose fashion interest revolves around her culture's bold fabrics, an entrepreneur, an immigrant, a girl from the rural parts of Nigeria, and someone whose design name means one who chooses to be different. I no longer care what other people say about me. I choose my own reality. I am bold. I am fierce. I'm Adanna.